So guys, I want to talk about how there are different types of sheeple. This is a very important video because I think a lot of people need to hear this, and it's just time that this needs to be said. Okay, there are different types of sheeple. Okay, now there's the stereotypical one is the people who just easily believe and follow whatever their government tells them, whatever their politicians, media heads, whatever they tell them, they take it in and they say it's truth, and they never ever question it. Obama's God, some Republican is God, whatever. Fox News is always telling me the truth, or MSNBC is always telling me the truth, that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's a form of being a sheeple. But it's also considered being sheeple if you go into a different direction here, and you're constantly believing everything that a certain radio host has to tell you. Albeit, it doesn't matter if it's Limbaugh, Hannity, Savage, doesn't matter. If it's any radio host or any pundit head who tells you something and you constantly take in what they tell you and you never find yourself in disagreement, then that's also considered sheeple. That's also considered sheeple if you also believe everything Alex Jones tells you. See, here's the funny thing. The worst kind of sheeple that I have found, the worst kind, are not the ones who sit around and praise the state all day or watch CNN all day. No, the worst kind of sheeple are the ones who claim to be the awakened ones, claim to not be sheeple. They're the ones throwing the insults at other people that don't think like them, who don't believe every single conspiracy theory that comes their way. So they're the ones giving off the sheeple label. They feel like they have the authority to do that. Oh, because they read up on some conspiracy theories, because they read up on things that most people don't know a whole lot about that is frightening. Stuff like Operation Northwoods, CIA plots in the past. That stuff is real and understandable, and that stuff has to be, there needs to be more knowledge of that in the public. That is true, and I'm aware of it. I was aware of this stuff 3 years ago when I started getting into this whole kind of a different segment of news and just kind of alternative news, different ways of thinking. I found it very refreshing and interesting. But now I'm just getting tired of it because it's not so much the messenger, but it's now the people following this messenger like this person is their God. And this person could be I'm not just talking Jones. I'm talking if it could be Ron Paul, Rand Paul, Adam Kokesh, you name it. If it's any other politician within the Liberty Movement or anybody other talking head within the Liberty Movement or Truth Movement or whatever you want to call it, people have a different label. People like to use different labels for that. I don't care what they want to call this movement. You can call it a new awakening, a new American awakening. You can call it whatever you want. But I found that whenever you decide to stray away from the pack, especially the Alex Jones pack and the InfoWars pack, and you start questioning what they have to say, you're no longer just questioning government and media, talking heads on corporate news outlets. You're now questioning the conspiracy theorists. You're now adding them on the list. And when you do that, you receive a barrage of attacks, insults, name-calling, the typical stuff you see the trolls do when they're upset, when you didn't completely bow down to the leader, you didn't follow the leader, you decided to stray away from the pack. This is my definition of having an awakened mind. This is my definition of being awake. Okay, my definition of being awake is not following a leader, following a talking head. It is about forming your own opinions, very simple stuff, forming your own opinions, having individual thought, being willing to stray away from the pack at times, your own little clique. To be able to get out of your little clique, I know is hard. I know it's been hard for some of you to do ever since you were like in elementary school, but you got to be able to do it at times if you want to get anywhere. You want to move up anywhere, you want to expand your horizon, you've got to be able to question everything. That's what I did this week. Earlier this week, back on Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, the criticism was a little harsh. Yeah, I admit. There was a little bit of name-calling around because of the passion of the moment. But still, I meant what I had to say, and I will always stand by it. If you are not willing to be that awakened individual, this whole awakening needs to be about individuality, not about collectivism. It's still collectivism. Even if you say it's not collectivism, but you're still engaging in weird, bizarre collectivist behavior that's almost, for some people, it's almost weird and cult-like, then it's not individuality. It's fake. Fake individuality. So like I said, being a true individual, free-thinking, awakened person, and wants to be aware of, things going on within the truth and liberty movement, getting information from alternative news, you've also got to be able and willing to question them and to not be afraid of doing that either, because nobody is immune to criticism. I'm not immune to criticism. You guys can call me out on whatever you want. I've been called out a few times this week over stuff, whatever. You can do what you want. But nobody is. And the worst kind of sheeple are these people that claim to hold the authority to call others sheeple because they feel like, hey, I'm more informed on 5 different topics than you. You better wake up. Craziness. Alrighty. I know this was kind of longer than I had intended, but give me your thoughts on this.